number 9 Baylor going to Provo to play BYU, number 21 ranked BYU. BYU is favored by 4. This game is at 10:15 Eastern. Now, we were at this game a year ago in Waco. Was an awesome atmosphere, was an awesome environment, as BYU had just announced, along with some other schools, they were coming to the Big 12. That's Cincinnati, Houston, UCF, and BYU all coming to the Big 12. So BYU, I think, ran out with a Big 12 flag. Anyway, really cool environment. This is going to be a conference matchup going forward. But BYU being ranked number 21 and favored by 4 at home against a top 10 ranked Baylor program, really intriguing matchup. I was a little surprised that, not surprised, I would have probably given a second thought to game day being in Provo for this game. Another video for another time. Baylor breaking a new quarterback since they saw BYU last time. Blake Shapen had his debut against Albany, gave us no reason to believe he won't be a good asset for them and allow them to have a more vertical passing attack. They had a lot of success last year, did Baylor, with the wide zone. The wide zone is sort of this downhill where you run towards the tackle with your running back. It's downhill rushing attack, if you will. That's going to be still the plan for Baylor, but ultimately they're going to try and threaten you more vertically, because I think they know, hey, we lost some really good backs to the NFL. We got to have something else offensively. We got to be able to stretch the field. Otherwise, physical programs like BYU, who has just about the whole defense coming back, that's where we're going to run into problems. Not to mention it's in Provo. I mean, that's going to be a really good test for Baylor. So they need to be able to stretch the ball vertically. Then defensively, Puka Nacua had a huge day in a loss last year against Baylor. This was a Baylor defense that was elite a season ago. They lost some folks to the NFL on defense as well. Can they keep a lid on those big plays? Can they keep from Jaron Hall and Puka Nacua just playing backyard football and throwing it up and putting up big points? That's going to be a hinge point for this game. Because for Baylor, they want to probably slow the game down a little bit. They want to be able to play a little bit more between the tackles and have more of a pro-style approach. I said they still want to throw vertical, but running the ball is still going to be the bread and butter of this offense. It's still going to be their plan A. The only difference is they're going to try and have a little bit more of a counter to that plan A if you're Baylor going forward. So for BYU, you got to force the issue. I feel like we say that a lot on this show, but you got to force the issue. No big plays defensively. Force Baylor to try and go length of the field on you. And then for the quarterback play at BYU, Jaron Hall has to be the catalyst. He is the way this offense lives and dies. Really experienced now at BYU. He's a guy that does a lot with his legs. He's a really great dual threat, is a real deal fast. He has to create extra opportunities for BYU to win this football game. Because the experience may slightly favor BYU in this environment, but I think the roster still favors Baylor. You can't get plowed up front if you're Baylor. For either program, you can't get overpowered up front. That's going to be huge. Our prediction, I really think Baylor has something special in Blake Shapen. We saw it in the Big 12 title game. We saw it against Albany, obviously. I mean, there's something to this kid that I feel could be really special. It's in the early stages, obviously, but he just adds a whole new element in addition to what they have up front with that offensive line. I think they get a good enough push. Maybe they're not dominant in this game, but I think they get a good enough push for Baylor to win this game, and they win it in a close one. In Provo, close one, 30-27. Game kicks at 10:15 Eastern, like we had mentioned. This is one that you're going to want to stay up for. It'll be a thriller to finish, but Baylor wins this game, again, 30-27. Hey, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.